Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
I
Year.
mean, this seems a little bit old. We're already a couple of weeks into 2023, but Happy New Year, bowling community.
We are so excited. Podcast number 4, and we have like a 5-pin universe pro league themed kind of podcast this week. We're
Super
repping
fun.
like
A few
our
twists. Yeah,
backgrounds.
something a little bit different, supporting our matching 5-pin universe crew necks, which you probably can't tell, but yeah, super
It's there.
excited. Super excited. Think we've been a little ambitious this this podcast. Katie and I have been working relentlessly in trying to get the format down right and getting all our guests intact, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it has been a little chaotic, to say the least. We have been right down to the wire. We've been making some last minute changes and trying to just get everything organized. It was like an ambitious one, but when it all works out, which it will, because I have positive vibes going into the universe, it's all going to be fine. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, awesome. Anybody out there who's like joined us so far, like drop us a heart or a like or even a comment. We love hearing from everybody, and we just love to know who's like joined us for this live session.
So we've got lots of stuff on the go. I'm just waiting for our first guest. They're live from Mexico, so we're gonna battle the Wi-Fi and see if it works. We're just waiting for them to come back into the studio here and get them going. But I guess we could talk a little bit just about some things that have happened. We had Masters in Edmonton or in Alberta last weekend. Tracy and I were playing together on the Saturday. She was a rock star. I struggled my way through, but it was a fun day. There were lots of great scores.
Listen, your start was unbelievable, and then you just got like we were like mirrored of each other, and then you just got a little bit of trouble with the
back and forth.
But yeah, it was awesome bowling with you. We had a lovely bond going there.
Tracy learned a whole bunch of new things about me, my like hatred of blue food,
which I had no idea. She was eating Skittles. Was it Skittles?
Yeah, Skittles. Yes. But like picking through to find all the blue ones and leave those in the bag. I don't eat blue things.
Left it. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna pull them in because we have our first guest here. They're live from Mexico, and hopefully their Wi-Fi keeps going. Hello, ladies.
Hola. How's it going?
Good. Awesome. Really good.
We're hoping
we call these the bowling wives.
We are.
Well, one of them is a Hall of Fame. One of them is a
Hall of Fame.
Bev, are you a Hall of Fame bowler? Have you been inducted?
No.
Yes. No.
Oh. She should be.
That's rockstar
in
her own world.
Okay, so that just threw me for a bit of a loop.
All of us are inducted to the Wives Hall of Fame.
I would agree with that.
For sure.
Yes. If anybody knows, you guys, you're all famous for all of your interactions on the lanes.
Really?
So for those of you out there who don't know, we have Bev Gigluk and Jan Mortar and Sue Howell, the lovely wives of Greg and Bruce Mortar, Lynn Howell, out here. They're vacationing in Mexico together. The weather's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Weather's awesome.
Yeah.
So far, I wanted to join in your vacation vibes. I'm pulling out my hat. Join in the vacation vibes for a while.
We were gonna rock some shades tonight, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Well, we can't tell if your eyes are bloodshot or not, so we're good.
No.
Yeah.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
The boys might be another story, but
okay. Yeah.
We're hoping we can bring them in at the end just for a quick hello and hi. If we can make that work, that'd be amazing at the end. But
Parts of them.
Parts of them, yeah. 2/3 of them might be able to join.
Okay.
We did kind of a excursion with a little bit of rum punch happening.
Mhm.
Just a little.
And one of them, some of the rum punch knocked out one of the boys.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Should we
Okay.
bet on
Yeah.
which boy?
You'll find out at the end, I
You'll find
guess.
out at the end.
Who shows up? Okay, the anticipation of who shows up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Shall we start with a question or two, Katie?
Yeah, for sure. So, you guys have been staples in the bowling community for many, many years, and your husbands have all had a lot of success as well. Jan, do you have any like favorite memories or moments of Bruce's that stick out and kind of come to mind?
You're talking bowling, right?
Well, I mean, maybe.
Yeah. I think most of the memories that I enjoyed the most were just going across Canada and visiting new places that I hadn't gone to before and meeting lots of people and yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The memories are the friends, right?
Memories and friends.
Yeah.
We're going to ask
Lots
the
of
same
good, lots of good
question.
bowling along the way, of course, but meeting all the good people, right?
It's
True,
very
yeah.
true. Yeah. I mean, there's been some pretty dominant play by your husbands, and you guys were always like right behind them, supportive, on and off the lanes. Was there anything like a funny story that you could or are willing to share about? I mean, I got a few, but I'm gonna let you talk about.
Like. Yeah, it's a tough question.
Spur of the moment.
Fair.
I'm
Oh, it's amazing how
speechless. Can you
quiet they
believe
all
it?
are right now.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be like ready to go. Like, oh, how about this and this? And maybe this one too.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what you were hoping,
Yeah.
Too much vitamin C today as well, so.
Indeed.
Fair.
C, S-E-A.
Oh, C.
Vitamin R.
S-E-A. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, got to.
This is what you guys are famous
I
for.
can't even think of
I
anything.
know. It's
Chatter.
Yeah.
Sorry, gals.
Speechless.
That's okay. So,
Sue, how is
Sue.
this?
yeah. So, Sue, thinking
No, that's
same kind of
fine.
question. Have you had any like big moments of Lynn's that have really stood out to you over the years?
His winning goals as a player or as a coach, he just gets involved both ways. It just means so much to him, whether he's playing or whether he's coaching. That's who he is, and
Right.
one doesn't overcome the other. They both mean the same to him.
Amazing. Yeah, and we've seen him on the lanes in Edmonton as a bowler and a coach so many times that it's almost weird to go to a bowling
And he's
tournament and not see
cried
him
a
there.
lot.
He has cried.
He's cried
have
a
been
lot.
Part
Yeah.
of those hugs where he's crying on my shoulder a few times. Yeah.
Yes. He can
Yeah, it
be a
happens.
big baby sometimes, but that's okay.
okay.
That's who he
He's just-
is.
Sensitive soul.
Yeah.
What was it like maybe for you for, decades of bowling to, stand behind your men? Did you enjoy it? It's obviously part of the journey and it was a big, part of your circle, really. Can you explain what it was like all those years?
Well, for me, like just watching the successes and stuff, it's been rewarding, and it's such a great feeling. You're proud for him, you're proud for the team, you're proud for the province, and the zone, whatever. It's just a great feeling.
For
I
sure.
think the bowling community itself too, it's always fun to see when your people have success or not success. It's good to see how the bowling community comes together to support either way. And, it's as well as it is for them because,
Yes.
I mean, you're just happy to be a part of it, you know? It's
Yeah.
a great family, the bowling family.
Exactly.
For sure. And Bev, you've had like a ton of success on your own as a player. Do you find you enjoy those moments playing when you are with Greg, like if he's on your team or a coach, or do you like the spotlight and like he can just kind of hang back?
Well, you know what? We've actually only ever been together on one team where he was a coach and I was a player, only once in all our years together of bowling, which is kind of amazing, but we're shooting for that again one of these days soon, hopefully. But yeah, it's I think it just works both ways, you know, like if I'm in it and he's supporting, or if I'm supporting and he's in it, I think it's the same no matter what. You're just always rooting for your spouse, and it's a good feeling. It's intense, and I think whether you're a bowler or whether you're not a bowler, I mean, you know, bowling wives, I think, are just as intense as their bowling husbands are, because you're just so involved and you just want them to have that success.
For sure.
Correct.
For sure.
Yeah, I threw a lot of balls in 30 years watching him bowl. So.
Yeah.
True.
He
I've
had-
won so many games. It's incredible.
Yeah.
What bowling alley had the best wine served?
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Collingwood, probably.
Collingwood,
Probably
yeah.
Collingwood. Yeah.
Collingwood.
Collingwood.
Oh, Collingwood wins that.
We had
Hey,
our
that's
own glasses. We had our own glasses, bigger and
see,
better.
that stuff's important. It is important.
Of course they
It
did.
is important, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have
Yeah,
one more
they
question.
Happy life, right?
True.
Mhm.
I have a question. Did you ever think that many moons ago, when you met these random bowling players and married them, and that you would end up meeting people and vacationing with them and ending up on a bowling podcast?
No, never.
No.
Not
I was
something you
14
predicted, hey?
At Lynn.
And then, so the final
Yeah.
moment, could we bring the two boys that are still standing for a quick hello? To the final moment.
Yes.
The final
Can
moment.
anyone guess who's not standing?
One of our comments, Cindy thinks it's totally Lynn not standing still.
Totally.
Definitely.
We might get lucky. Oh,
Well, we've got Greg.
And
I see Greg.
We're lacking.
And
Oh,
Lynn
no. Oh, we'll give our best to Bruce.
one
Bye,
punch.
Bruce.
Bruce is passed out. Bruce is passed out in bed. Yeah.
Oh no.
He's a bit.
I love the chaos of this moment.
It is just chaotic. It's perfect.
It's exactly what we needed to start the show. I love it.
We know the Wi-Fi is a little challenging and we can hear
Okay,
Megan,
hola.
but we just wanted to say that we love you guys. Have fun, and thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of the trip. Bye, guys. I was not expecting Bruce. Like, if you had asked me which one of those three was not going to be there, Bruce was the last one.
It's awesome. I'm happy it's Bruce. It's so fun. Oh, I'm
Ditch my vacation vibes now here.
Yeah, I mean, so awesome to have that group of people on. We're sorry about the lagging with the Wi-Fi and all that. It's a bit tricky when they're all, in Mexico together. We actually thought it would be super fun to have them. It was a bit hard, I'm sure, to hear on the other end, but so
Hopefully the
grateful
message
to.
came across.
Yeah, totally. It's so fun.
Yeah. Wow. Michelle, Bruce is no longer a party animal. Bye, Bruce. Well,
Love
they
it.
look like they're having a time in Mexico. We are going to switch gears a little bit. It is Pro League night. We figured, halfway through the season, it's time to start highlighting some of those ladies that are playing all the way from coast to coast. we have so many amazing ladies playing in the league, and yeah, it'll be good to kind of get to know them a little bit more. We decided we're going to switch gears a little bit, not just do like a formal interview style get to know you that we've typically done in the past. We wanted to switch things up, spice it up a little.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. I mean, we're not sure what we don't know what we don't know. So also, be patient with us because we're trying to be a little bit creative. But looking forward to actually what's about to happen in the next 20, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring up the screen so we can introduce kind of our first panel. Nope, give me 1 second here. It did not switch over for me.
This is the thing. Sometimes we don't rehearse this part.
You know what? We did rehearse this part, and then we had some last minute changes. So I'm just going to pull it up. But while we're doing that, Tracy, do you want to just tell us a little bit about the Pro League format here?
That's a very good question. Pro League format
maybe not.
I mean, it's more about, I think, for me, I mean, I think everybody's enjoying what's happening with the Pro League and then the expansion. Do you want to just get right into it?
Sure.
Yes, good.
Here we go.
Awesome.
We got it. The hiccups that happened. So our first panel coming out from the East.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Sitar has just joined us. We actually had invited someone else, and she actually had some problems logging in. So we leaned into Sam literally 5 minutes before the show, and she gratefully accepted being on. So she's sitting in the back of the studio. So thank you. Katie Wells from Newfoundland, from the Rock and Rollers. So we're super excited. And then our other sleeping giant, Alyssa Bonnie, is joining us today as well.
All right. Are we ready to bring them in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here if we can get everybody in. Almost. So close. We were so close. There's lots of moving parts today, guys. Welcome to our first wheel of topics.
Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, pretty good. We got to get our voices right. So let's just, bring them out. So maybe what we'll do is just a quick round table. You guys could do a quick introduction, your team, where you're located, and then we'll get into the game. And I'm just seeing Alyssa as kind of my first person. So we'll start with Alyssa.
I'm in Thunder Bay, and we're on the Thunder Bay Bowling Club, or the Sleeping Giants. And this is our second year.
Love it. Welcome.
And Sam?
I'm Sam. I'm also on the Thunder Bay Bowling Club. Taylor has another name for us, but I don't think you guys want me to say that.
TBBC.
Okay.
Well,
and
you are allowed, Sam. So thank you for kind of sharing.
Oh, you actually want me to?
No, we're good.
I'm on the Rock and Rollers out of Newfoundland. We bowl at Plaza Bowl.
Amazing.
It's our first year.
Are you enjoying it so far?
I am. I wasn't really sure what I was getting myself into at first. It was just kind of like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, sure, might as well. But we're really enjoying it, and we're gelling really well together and having a lot of fun. So
yeah, that's awesome. All right. Are you guys ready? You're kind of our guinea pigs for this. We decided if it works well, we're going to bring it back later in the year. But if it doesn't, then say la vie.
It's a test and learn.
We're going for it. So we have the wheel of questions just like this. So there's a whole bunch of topics on here. Some of them are bowling related. Some of them are just random everyday things that you might think of in your everyday life. And we're just going to spin it out. If anybody's seen shows like Pardon the Interruption or Around the Horn, it's kind of that kind of similar style. And we'll go from there. Any questions, ladies, before we start? I'm ready. I'm pumped. Pro League favorites. So, thinking about the teams in the Pro League, who are you rooting for, loving? What team is your favorite if you can't pick your own? Alyssa,
You cannot pick your own.
cannot pick your own.
I'll pick the Quebec Lumberjacks because I like their logo.
Their logo's cool.
Lumberjacks. Yeah.
Mhm.
Those hats look sharp.
Mhm.
The Pro League hats. Yeah. Katie, what about you?
I think I'm gonna have to go with the Average Pros.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love for the Average Pros.
I was just
Yes.
gonna say, let's just pump them up a little bit more. Let's just feed into those egos.
Yeah,
Probably
I'm
shaking his
shocked
head
we
at me.
haven't even got a comment yet about
Yeah,
the
I'm
Average
sure they're
Pros.
like, yeah, Average Pros.
Yeah. Henry for sure.
Henry, yeah, he's all over it.
Yeah.
Sam?
I've really only watched our division, but I've enjoyed watching the Rock and Rollers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Little love for the Rock and Rollers.
Yeah.
Good.
Tracy, do you have a team that you've kind of been watching?
That's a really good question. I don't want to say the Dream Crushers because there's but
I mean,
I could. Right? I'm gonna have to go with the Bombers.
yeah. The Bombers, hey. I became like a huge Quebec Lumberjacks fan
Yeah.
when they released that commercial.
It's cool.
It was so well done and so sharp. I'm like, yeah, I like that. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that was very cool what they did there. But there's a lot of cool stuff happening, right? Like
There is.
Yeah.
All the teams are like using social media to really like get that fan base going. It's amazing to see. It's awesome.
yeah, agreed.
All right. Are we ready for a round number 2? We'll spin it again. I wish this had music. That'd be
Does it get rid of like the last question?
like
League favorite. Redo.
redo. Favorite tournament to play in? You could pick any tournament that's your favorite. You enjoy it for whatever reason. Katie, why don't you start?
That's tough. I really enjoyed the Open, but I'm probably gonna have to say maybe Youth Challenge just because I was there, so I went a couple of years in a row, and I really just enjoyed the teams that I had, and I just thought it went off really well, and I really enjoyed it. But for adult tournaments, I'm gonna have to say the Open, but haven't really had much experience yet, so.
Fair.
Yeah, it's a good one though. Right?
Yeah. Sam.
Competition wise, just like building as a team, it's always going to be the Open, but fun, Masters Nationals, hands down.
Yeah. What did you find different about them?
I really, with the division between singles and teams, I like with Masters Nationals that every night is free and you can go from room to room, or they normally have an event at night or a hospitality room where you can go and hang out.
Yeah. Oh, just wait till Open Nationals in Edmonton. We're ready to go for it. I'm on it. I'm taking that feedback. Alyssa?
Yeah, mine's the Open as well. I just think it's a different format in Northern Ontario for the Open versus Masters, of course. So I just prefer the format of the Open. I feel like you get a lot more camaraderie with the team. You have the same team the whole way through, and you just build a lot better relationships, whereas the Masters just kind of get thrown together and bowl nationals together. So it's just a better team feeling through the Open for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of nice with the Open because you're with that same team all the way through, like provincials, then nationals. So you kind of get to build that connection, whereas Masters, it's more putting the pieces together, I guess.
For sure.
All right. I want a fun topic. Favorite music? What are you listening to? What do we need to put on the playlist? Sam.
I listen to pretty much everything, but I will forever be in my emo phase, so I still constantly listen to the music from when I was in high school.
That's cool.
I like that.
Me too.
And Katie?
I am a massive Harry Styles fan.
Harry Styles, hey?
Hey.
Yep, massive Harry Styles fan. Everybody at INSchool, I'm like, no, where if you hear his name, everybody instantly comes to me and is like, oh, did you hear this? Have you heard this? It's I really like him.
Wow, I love that. So did you listen like One Direction time too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Got
a really
started
big One
with that.
Direction fan, and then when they all branched out, but he's just the one that I kind of stuck with.
Harry Styles tattoo even.
Kinda. I have
Kinda.
a tattoo of cherries, and
Okay.
my favorite song by him is Cherry. So
Oh, nice. Alyssa, what are you listening to?
Yeah, no, I'm like Sam, a little bit of everything. I think probably rap would be my go-to genre, but I definitely love some country music too, so I'm definitely all over the map on that aspect.
Yeah. I always love like thinking about favorite music, like walkout songs. Like Tracy, when you did your walkout song for TPC Invitational the one year and it was like old school hip hop, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
I did. Alyssa, you and I would get along really well because that's the same with me. But I did a Dr. Dre walkout song for TPC. So I love a lot of old hip hop, 90s, Tupac, that whole thing. I can listen to that all day long.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Nice. All right, let's see. This one is one of like the non-bowling related questions. What is a food that you could eat every day for the rest of your life and you would never get sick of it? And why?
Pizza. It's definitely pizza. You can eat so many different kinds of pizza, so it's like you could eat it every day and it would be different every time.
Nice. And what's like the go-to kind of pizza?
I'm a Hawaiian fan, so
And
the
from
haters
where?
can-
And from where?
I don't. Well, we have a couple good local joints here, but if I was picking a chain, it'd be Domino's, for sure.
The cheesy cheddar dip.
Yes, that's good.
I love the cheesy cheddar dip. What about you, Sam?
We have a local burger place called Burger Barn, and I could say I could eat it every day because I eat it frequently because my work is just up the street. And by just up the street, I mean like a minute walk.
So it's
Yeah.
accessible.
And like, what do you get from there?
It's called the Blue Collar Combo, and I always get their poutine because their gravy is amazing.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. We all need to go to Ontario.
Yeah.
Katie?
Oh God. Probably either any form of potato, just anything, or like spaghetti.
Oh, spaghetti. Do you have one, Tracy?
I mean, I'm a burger girl. I could eat burgers every day.
Really?
Good cheeseburger. Yeah. Like if calorie count didn't matter.
Yeah. All that aside.
But yeah, I love burgers.
Yeah. Interesting.
You?
Anybody who knows me, like, I love a good boiled hot dog. Not like on the campfire, not, there can be
Like
no
boiled, like old school boiled hot dogs.
yeah, like I don't like when there's black like char marks on it. It's got to be boiled. It's the best way.
And okay, so I'm going to take, like, what's your favorite brand of wiener?
I mean, the Costco hot dogs are superior to all other hot dogs.
I know that wasn't a question, but I just had to know. And I think we all
Yeah.
wanted to know.
Yeah, wow, boy. See, everybody makes fun of me. They put it on the thing at bowling the one day about how I liked boiled hot dogs, but They're a thing. They're the way to go.
I feel like that's the nostalgia piece. Like I feel like that's how everyone eats them as a kid, and then you get up,
Yes.
grow up, and people like expect you to eat them a different way, and it's just
Right. And
Yeah.
I
not right.
yeah. And I don't like when you do them on the barbecue because they get all bubbly and weird. I don't know. Just a whole tangent about hot dogs here. Very passionate about the hot dogs. All right. Warm up. Here we go. Getting into a little bit of the bowling stuff. What is your warm up routine for like a big tournament or even leagues that you just the go-to you have to do before you start playing?
Stretch. Absolutely. I laugh now because I was that kid in YBC that like was like, I'll never have to stretch before a tournament, just show up, throw balls. And now it's like if I don't stretch for like 15 minutes before bowling, I will not make it through the tournament. So definitely stretching.
Fair. As we get older, hey?
It's a steep decline after 25.
Fair. Katie?
I am the worst person for that question because I don't do anything. I don't even like to practice.
She's not 25 yet.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She hasn't hit the
My
steep decline yet.
parents don't like it because every time I just go and they're like, okay, you should probably like warm up or something. And I'm like, no, walking around, talking to everybody, not even like paying attention. And then I'm like, oh, I have to go now. My turn. I don't do anything.
Yeah. Sam?
Day one of a tournament, I just throw balls. Later on, the next day, I'm stretching just like Alyssa for about 15 minutes and then struggling through the first few slides, so throwing as many balls as I can.
Fair. Yeah. I don't know if I have to pee usually. That's like my go-to. Go to the bathroom, get out the nervous peas, and then
Wait till
clear
you're
the
my
bladder.
age. You got
Yeah, that's like mine. I'm kind of like you, Katie, like throwing practice balls. I'll do it if I have time, but half the time I'm just preoccupied, busy. Do you do anything, Tracy?
I mean, again, I think it's like what Alyssa said. It changes. I mean, I'm 55 now, so like it definitely changes over time. But now for me, it's a combination of stretching, but also it takes me longer to kind of get into a mental thing. So I'm trying to work on what that could mean for me. So it gets harder as you age.
It does get harder.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Mhm.
Can confirm that. Should we do one more spin of the wheel here with our group one? And then, all right, last spin here. Any superstitions? Anything you're super, like, maybe not a superstitious, but a little stitious about?
I can't take off my shoes after I put them on, like bowling wise.
So like going to the bathroom.
I
Okay.
even try to avoid that at all costs, especially if I'm like doing anything. I'm like, if I change anything now, it's gone. Like, not going to get it back. It's gone forever. So
Really?
yeah, I try to avoid it at all costs if I can.
It's a new one for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, do you have any?
I tend to have like one bowling ball that I use for my first shot and my second shot, and I normally can tell them by like the nicks in them.
Mhm.
So like I have one set where there's a line. I'm like, okay, that's the ball I used first. When I got my soft rolls, it became harder, but now there's a nick in one of them, so it makes it easier to pick them out.
Right.
I have the exact same two, and I only have two, and they're the ones they mentioned. Except I will take my shoes off. It's just I won't go to the bathroom if I'm on like any kind of string of anything until I ruin it, and then I can go pee because I already ruined it. So what else can happen? And I do have an exact mark on the ball that I like to use first, and especially again if I'm on some kind of string of anything, I'll try and use that one first, and I can tell them apart by the nicks on them because I've used the same ball since I was 7 years old, so they're quite nicked. but yeah, no, those are my two.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, like mine might be weird, but if I've had some success like in any center across Canada, I will put my shoes in the exact same spot. So like I literally remember where I put my shoes, and I will move somebody's shoes to put my shoes in that exact spot if I've had a good round at any event across the country. Yes.
Wow. I'm going to watch you when you go into bowling alleys from
If
now on.
I'm-
See if you're like
rude.
moving
It's
everybody's
rude.
shoes
I'm
around.
sorry if I've moved your shoes, but like it's a big deal. Yeah, for me.
So if you can't find your shoes, it's because they were in Tracy's spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she moved them.
I have
Just
a few
heads up.
other quirky things, but like nothing big. But I think that one's kind of really quirky.
Yeah, that one is
Yeah.
interesting.
How about you? I mean, is it the underwear in your bowling bag?
We were just talking off about what's in my bowling bag, and there's lots of pairs of underwear because if I get to a day and I'm playing and it just doesn't feel right, I take it off and then just throw it in my bowling bag and forget to take it out. So every once in a while I go in and there's like a handful of underwear. I always will step on the lane with my left foot first. And I don't know if it necessarily started so much as a superstition, but because I didn't have a slider on my right foot, I would like trip because it would just like stick. So I don't know if that's why it started, but now it's at a point where I will always step on the lane with my left foot first. That's about it. I'm not superstitious.
It's minor.
It's kind of, yeah.
Yeah. That's
it
awesome.
goes with it, but yeah. Wow.
Ladies,
Round
thank you.
one. Yeah. I like this. It kind of gives us a chance to see different little personality things, little things we never would have learned about you.
We'll definitely have phase 2, I think. So
yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today and going through all of your little answers with us. And hopefully the rest of your Pro League season goes really well. Is anybody playing this weekend?
We are.
Yeah.
I don't
We'll be
think
watching.
we play it until March.
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan's calling me out that I never put gas in my car before a tournament. It's a superstition. It's not before a tournament. It's just
Forever.
all the time. It's always empty. Thanks so much, ladies, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Are we ready to bring out round 2?
Yeah, that was fun.
Kind of like this.
it
Round
was very
2, we
fun.
have some players from the West coming out to join us. Bev Magnus from the Kingpins in Alberta, manager Sarah Ouellette, and Jennifer Deviney are going to be our go-tos this time. I'm going to just pull up this and we can bring them right in.
Ladies.
Welcome, Sarah, Bev, and Jennifer.
Thank you. Hello.
Were you
How's
able to kind of partake in listening to the first phase of rapid fire questions?
Yes. Yeah, I had a couple good giggles there. Tracy and moving shoes around.
It's legit. Anybody who knows me.
It's
Yeah.
legit. See, now my eyes are going to be on you every time you're over by the door.
I shouldn't have told it. But listen, I'm close to retirement. Let's be honest.
No,
And
you shush.
so I've only got a few years left in me.
I'll just
So
make sure to put my shoes under your shoes.
Yes, or on top of my shoes. It's all
Or
good.
on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are prepared for anything? Any question that the wheel gives you, you're prepared?
Sure. Let's do it.
Perfect. Jennifer, do you want to just introduce yourself? Let us know what team you're playing on, where you're playing out of.
Of course. Hi, my name's Jennifer Devaney. I am from Winnipeg, Manitoba, out of the St. James Snowmen.
Amazing. Sarah? Will it work?
Can Sarah hear us?
I don't know. Sarah? Oh,
nope.
We'll start with Bev, and then we'll go from there.
Hi, Beverly Magnus, playing for the Stettler Kingpins for the first time. So it's been pretty exciting.
Amazing. Are you guys enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a different format.
it's a thing. You know, you get all jacked up and you realize it's just the 8 of you in the bowling alley.
Totally strange
8
sometimes.
in the morning and it's really quiet.
Yeah.
It's quite a drive for you. That's a huge commitment, Bev, for you and Mike to go to Stettler to be with the Kingpins. So that's, I mean, it's very cool. It's a huge commitment. And then Jen, some of the stuff that you guys are doing, just like, you know, your Friday night stuff, it's just been really entertaining to watch the dialogue on Facebook and some of the videos that you guys are posting. So keep it going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Sarah, can you hear us now? No.
No sound.
Are you muted? No. Oh, she's going to keep working on that troubleshooting while we wait for her. Maybe we will do a round 1 here. Get going on that and see if we can get her up and running. So you may get the same question. You may get something different. First one is, any bowling mentors? Anybody in the sport who's really like motivated you or you've looked up to along the way?
Well, I'm kind of in that, you know, like Roy Cunningham, like the old school boys out of Calgary, Colin Keir, Don Marshall, a lady that wasn't, I mean, she was kind of on her way, Alvina Bretnell, Ann Norris, you know, Jen Marshall, now Smith, like even within my own peer group. Yeah, there was a few.
Yeah. Amazing. What about you?
Personally, if I was thinking like family-wise, I'd say my dad or my sister would be a mentor for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I was thinking bowling community, I really have to put like Karen Armstrong, Sandy Anderson, Linda Orne. They're bowlers who've always been around me in my life. Great lady mentors as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Dynasty team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so much to learn there. If all of us could just partake in a moment of being with those ladies, it'd be incredible, right?
Yeah. It's pretty incredible getting to keep bowl alongside them, compete alongside them. They're considered friends, being as much as I see them. I see them once a week on Fridays or Sundays, kind of thing.
Yeah. How about you, Katie?
You know, I always like this question because it's changed so much, I guess, over the years. I think the big one for me, as I got into the age of like starting to think about competing myself, is like all of just that core group of Edmonton ladies that were frequently making open teams and masters, like Heidi Mapstone. It has been like unreal to me. Every time I make a team with her, I'm always like, oh, I get to play with Heidi. Like it just still brings me like this, like, wow, I can't believe I'm on the lanes with her, even though like we've played together 6 or 7 times now. I don't think the awe ever like wears off. And then when I have to compete against her, I'm like, I have to compete against Heidi now. Like I always still
step
get
up
that.
your game.
Yeah, I'm like, What about you?
I mean, obviously my dad was, you know, alongside my bowling journey right from a young adult, but Mark Jackson was like critical when I was just getting out of YBC. And then from a female perspective, I always really looked up to Bev Gigliak. So, I mean, there's lots, right? Bruce, Blair Pizzi, Lynn Howell, Tom Stevenson. I mean, I could just keep going.
Go on and on and on. I know there's so many
who have given me value and time to support where I was at in my bowling game. Adam Weber, like just so many.
Yeah. Sarah, we'll try again.
Hi.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Sure. So I'm Sarah. I'm the manager of the Revengers here in Regina.
Amazing. Did you happen to see the wheel talking bowling mentors?
I didn't, no.
Oh, do you have any bowling mentors that you kind of have looked up to over the years as you've played?
So like my very first mentor actually came from the Saskatchewan Bowling School, who was my first bowling coach, who is Shelley Bear, who now right away here will be my mother-in-law. And so I've always really looked up to her. And then like on the lanes, really Crystal Hibner has always been one. Alyssa Rack, previously Alyssa Spark, and Tracy Jansen. Those three big like Saskatchewan women. For me, I just like kind of like you, Katie, where I'm like bowling with Crystal on the lanes or bowling with Alyssa my rookie year of the Open. I'm like, oh my God, I'm bowling with Alyssa. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, don't trip over my feet. Don't embarrass yourself.
I do that every tournament. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, let's spin this puppy again here. See what else is on there. Oh, superstitions again, but we got new people. So, do you guys have any superstitions?
I never
Beth?
wear my slider into the bathroom ever. I don't care how bad I have to pee. That the left shoe's coming off.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to use the same towel all the time too. But I got better at washing my towels and throwing, a variety in my bag.
Those are good ones.
Yeah. Jennifer.
I don't really think so. I mean, for tournaments at St. James, I always tell myself, like, I don't allow myself to do tangles because during league I will do tangles and I've smoked my head a few times or I've fallen. So for tournaments, it's more so that. Besides that, no, not really. Not really.
Yeah. I guess it's different when you're like at the lanes all the time and then you're like, I should be doing this, but I'm here to play. And yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's nicer to bowl in tournaments, not at St. James, because you don't have to work.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you have any?
Mine is probably like not going to the bathroom if I'm like on a roll or not eating if I'm on a roll. Those two.
Yeah. I thought of another one I have that if I listen to a song, like if I like pregame to a song in my car on the way there and I play well, that's the same song I will listen to for that whole tournament. Every time I'm driving to the bowling alley or heading to the bowling alley, I will listen to that song. And if it's the Open, and if it's the Open that I do it at zones for qualifying and I play really well at qualifying, I will continue to use that song for provincials and nationals of that year. And like, it won't change until the next year.
Nice.
Can I tell you a story? It's a recent story. It's just really weird. We're talking about this, not a superstition, but when we were trying to qualify for the last set of Masters last year, Kurt and I were going to Toppler. Mm-hmm. And if anybody knows Calgary, I'm like taking a road, and just as we were taking this road, he's like, "Do you want to listen to a song?" And I said, for whatever reason, not common for me, I said, "Post Malone, Sunflower is what I want to listen to." So he, voices it on his radio and it pops up and we're listening to the song. Very random, not a song I listen to very much at all. We turn left to go towards Toppler and there is an electrical unit, those silver units that has a big sunflower on it. Really, really weird. And, we just kind of looked at each other like, okay, that's just very random, very weird. Right. We never really said anything. And the weirdness about the whole thing is I ended up winning that tournament. And that was when I placed first for singles after, 38 attempts. So I feel like there was a sign there somehow. Like quirky, weird. Yeah. Cool story.
Yeah, that is. And then did you listen to that song then when you played at Nationals?
Oh, I've tried to use that song again as a superstition and it hasn't worked.
Oh, so it didn't quite carry over, but
no.
Got you there. So that's good. Oh, it's right on the line. This is not a bowling related question, but it could be. But best city in your opinion in Canada? Could be just like a place to travel, maybe a place that has a good bowling alley. Jennifer?
Guess I'd have to say Banff just because I've always wanted to travel there. For bowling alleys, I do really love Edmonton. I have a gold medal national U challenge from Edmonton, so it always sticks that I love bowling there.
Was that at Bonnie Doon?
Yes. Yeah. When they mistaken my name for Jeff Delaney.
Just to tag on that, I have a funny story about my brother at Nationals for Youth Challenge when they mistaken, so my brother's name is Jeremy Harasimchuk, and they mistaken his name when they announced his gold medal as Jerry Harishmuck. And I wasn't there, but I had about 10 people instantly texting me being like, they just called your brother Jerry Harishmuck. And I was like, I love that. It's a youth challenge thing.
Does he get that on his Starbucks mug ever? Like,
I don't know, but Michelle Hoyle will still call him Jerry Harishmuck to this day. Like that's all she refers to him as.
They ended up putting, because they put Jeff Delaney, they ended up putting me on the men's side as well for high average for the first few games.
Of course they did. Things happen.
It's a good memory.
Yeah. Bev, what about you?
I'd have to say like non-bowling. Like I like the Okanagan, like Kelowna, Vernon. It's where my parents grew up.
Mm-hmm.
The wine touring is pretty good down there too. So, just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Bowling wise, I mean, I like Edmonton. I like, before Sherwood Park closed in Hamilton, I enjoyed playing there. So, yeah.
And Sarah?
I'm with Bev on the Okanagan, Kelowna area. Like that's definitely my favorite. And then bowling wise, probably Nebs in Toronto. That's probably my there's so much to do in Toronto or Oshawa, Toronto. You can go there once a year and do something different every single time. And I've always had really good success at Nebs. So yeah.
Amazing. Do you have a place, Tracy, that you like to go to?
I mean, I've been lucky enough. I think I'm a sucker for St. John's. The people, just the place. It's very soothing when you go there, but it's also very fun, right? Like George Street's tons of fun. Never traveled there on a personal level. It's always been through bowling. However, I'll never go on a whale watching boat trip, and that's probably for another podcast with another group of people. But that was a bit of a horror story. But St. John's, I think, is just stunning, and the people are amazing. So I'd say St. John's. Yeah. You?
Mine is this little town in BC called Nelson. My dad's family's from there, but it just fits my little hippie vibe and spirit of tie-dye and sit by the lake. So that's probably my favorite place to go. But
very nice.
Yeah. A couple more here. Next up, your self-talk before the shot. So you are the 1 in 10 having to throw the double to win it all. What do you tell yourself before you go up and throw that ball? Bev?
Okay. I was like, who's going to go? Who's going to go? I think I just literally go through my pre-shot routine. I'll slide my left foot on the approach, wipe the ball off, wipe the hand, and then step up and tell myself, you got this. Go do it.
Yeah. Sarah?
Mine is probably when I'm really in the zone, I'm like, go F it up. Or go F them up.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm and I tend to watch people as well. I like to, and so when I'm throwing in 10-2, I'm like, hey, don't watch them, make them watch you. Throw that shot and make them watch you. So that I say that to myself a lot, not just in 10, but in every frame.
Yeah. Do you have anything, Jennifer?
Yes. I find if I'm really in the zone, I actually just kind of get up and go. I keep my mind as blank as possible. Keep what's working. If I'm struggling a bit and need to find it again in 10, I will just talk to myself positively, saying you got this. Remember where you came from. remember how you got here and don't forget that kind of thing.
Yeah. What do you tell yourself, Trace?
I'm a little bit famous for myself, like just saying like have no fear, like before a shot. So like have no fear. I'm not affected by what another bowler does because I know I can't control what they do. I mean, if they want to strike out, that's amazing. I'm always just trying my best, but I do use this slogan in my head when I'm really strong, like have no fear. And then I do this thing where I just quickly visualize like seeing my hand go over like a spot or a space.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I do that and I roll into it, and if it's executed well, then typically it's amazing. It doesn't always work out, but
yeah.
You?
Yeah. I'm really bad about like the self-talk. Like Hurricane Katie just has so many things going on in her head at any given moment. But pretty much anybody who plays on a team with me knows the voice. Like I will hear the voice behind me that kind of self-talks. I tell them the talk that they need to tell me, and it's usually just confident and aggressive. That's the big thing. Just stay confident and aggressive. So yeah, I don't always remind myself to say it, but it always gets in there somehow.
I do this thing too where it's like this one's for you, meaning me, like this one is for me.
Throw this shot for yourself.
Yeah, so I do that quite often as well.
Yeah. All right, last one of the evening. See if it'll be a good one. Your guys' favorite tournaments to play. What a nice way to end this. What's your favorite tournament that's out there? Sarah?
Mine, since moving to Regina, is probably Masters. Just because I get the chance to possibly bowl with Saskatoon people where I'm from, and I never bowl with them anymore. And I always enjoy TPC for the tour. Like, specifically the doubles no tap event. That's where I'm strong. Like I get lots of corners, so having the no tap, I like that.
Yeah. Nice. Jennifer?
It's kind of a toss-up because I really love the Open, but with not really having many chances to compete in it except for last year. I love the format, so I'd have to say Masters with having more opportunities to be able to compete in it. It's just nice being able to compete with everyone across Winnipeg, Manitoba, everything, and then also being able to go to nationals, and they have different events, different rookie years kind of thing. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. And Bev?
Mine's the Open. It has been for a very long time, although I'm driving back into the Masters. So, had a good year last year doing both,
Yeah.
Just a team player. Just throw me in, coach.
Throw me in, coach. Amazing. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us tonight for our first round of Topic of Wheel or Wheel of Topics. Yeah.
It worked.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's better than the shot wheel.
better than the Sherwood shot wheel. That's right.
That could be next podcast. So
It could be.
Sign me up.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Good luck.
Bye.
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 Good night.
All right. I like that. I think
It's super
we may need
fun.
to bring that back. Yeah.
And my cheeks hurt a little bit, so I definitely enjoyed it.
I did too. All right. And we're going to move on. We're a little bit behind schedule, but we're going to move on to our resident coach. I know I was talking to her earlier today about some of the things she wanted to talk to everybody about, and I'm excited for it. So with that being said, we'll bring in Des. Hello.
Hi, Des.
How's it going? Hi.
We're good.
How's things going?
Good. It's been a busy day, but I made it home in time, so that's a bonus.
We're here. We're good to go. You've been ramping up, getting ready to take a youth challenge team coming up here, hey, to provincials?
Yeah, a couple weeks coming up for first weekend in February. So we got a couple of practices coming up this week, try out some new lineup stuff, and get the boys ready to go.
That's right, because you're coaching a team out of Calgary this year.
Yes, I did last year as well. So I had the boys last year, and then I have the boys team again this year as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have you back. I know we had you on a few months ago. Last month we just had some scheduling things, couldn't make it work, but moving forward, you're in the show, and I know you have like kind of a vision of where you want to see our topics go as we go through. So what have you got for us?
Yeah. So, I was thinking about like some of the things that I talk to the adults and the kids about and how they can improve. Most people know I do quite a bit of the mental side of the game, but I try not to focus it so much on feeling or this. I'm trying to bring the physical and the mental together and how you can best do that. So there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on that we will go through the weeks. But for today, I thought the biggest thing that I think is really important is to be very clear on what your goals are for a tournament when you're going into them versus what your expectations are, because a lot of the times those don't line up. And that's okay, right? You can expect that you want to be at the top or you want to win, but maybe where you are in your athletic development or in your journey right now, you're just not there. And understanding that that's just part of how it goes. And that it's not a ceiling, it's not limiting, it doesn't mean you can't get there, but we need to try and come up with the steps of how to get you there. And so I guess kind of in partnering with that is understanding, there's really 3 big categories that we use in athlete development. It's learn to train, training to compete, and training to win. And then understanding what each of those categories means, and that you might start off as a youth coming out and you are in the train to win. You've been to nationals, now you're coming into the adults. So you're expecting when you go to qualify for the open that you're going to make a team, right? But now you're competing against adults who have many, many years of national experience. So maybe you actually bump down into a training to compete. How do I compete against the adults? How do I take what I do in practice in league, what I've done in the youth, and do it in a different setting now?
Right. So it's not saying that like when you get into one of those zones that's where you're stuck. You have to be in that. It's like fluid. You can kind of move between them and depending on where you're at.
Totally. Life changes, right? I mean, we kind of spoke about this earlier. It can be, especially for women, like you take a step back because you're starting a family. And so maybe, you left when you're at the top of the game and you come back a few years later and there's all these youth that have moved up and there's people that have moved on and graduated. And now you have to figure out where you fit in there and where you want to be. And so maybe you're back into that learning how to compete again because there's all these new faces and your body has changed or your timing has changed or your focus has changed because now you have a small one crying in the background or you got a new job. And so that's stressing you out. And those are things that we don't always, I think, give enough credit to, but they do play a big part in our game. And you need to give them the time so that you can figure out how to fit that all together and make the puzzle pieces work.
Right. I know personally I've experienced it. Like when we came out of youth, I was at fairly high up in the top of the youth division. We went to nationals, we medaled there. Then as I came into the adult ranks, I went to school. And by the time I was done university, I was averaging 185. And that obviously is just not going to cut it in the adult world of 5-pin bowling competitively. And so like I definitely had to gear my thought process a little differently in that time.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, kind of like that expectation, right? Like you came out of youth and you had this expectation that, I'm just going to maintain, I'm going to stay in that same place. But a lot of things changed in life and you didn't, and that's okay. Right. So then I think setting little goals of, having the big end goal, I want to make it to nationals. I want to be a national champion. I want to make masters, whatever it is, it can happen. But if you get lost in how you get there, then it becomes really overwhelming. And I think we already have so much going on in our lives that adding that extra stress and feeling lost and overwhelmed in how you achieve that goal can be really defeating.
Yeah.
I know, like, in my list, we don't need to say how long, I guess, I've been in the game, but I think, the passion for me has always been there, Des and Katie. And over time, like you have these moments of, let's just say, greatness. And then if you don't really know how to handle not being at the top of your game, then it becomes really difficult mentally. And so I have found, that you're not always going to be perfect when you have like a long span playing the sport. And it was almost like because at points you were faced with so much disappointment because maybe you weren't at the top of your game in those moments or those years, that you kind of have to, like, for me personally, I've had to like reset and almost like relearn what that meant for me in the moment. It could have been age, it could have been, you know, just taking the game for granted, maybe going through the motions a lot and expecting to have like really great results. And it didn't work. And so for me, it just got harder and harder until I kind of reset and then, you know, disciplined my game, took time to support what my game needed, right? Like practice a lot. Those are a lot of things that was Des talking about in terms of where you're at in your journey with the game.
Yeah. And I think just, you know, being like understanding and accepting that this happens. Like bowling has one of the longest career spans I have seen in any sport. I coach a lot of different things. And I mean, if you look at from the time that someone bowls youth until the time that they're bowling seniors, right? There's so much and there's so much time and there's so much life that goes on in that. You can't expect that you're always going to be at the top. I wish we could. That would be lovely, right? But life happens and things happen and there's things out of your control too that you have to learn to adapt to, and just, I think, understanding that it happens and it's okay. And then you just need to refocus. And then, you know, for me, from a coaching perspective, that's what I really try to bring in to say, okay, this is what you're feeling. I understand you want to get to whatever your end goal is. So how are we going to get you there, right? Let's take some of that emotion aside and figure out what we can do to get you where you want to be, because I know you still can, you know, you still can, but we're being overwhelmed by everything else that's going on right now. And I think the focus goes. And so it's just, we get lost.
Right. And so then when you think about, like, you were talking about the difference between like your goals and your expectations. And I know we kind of talked a little bit before about like, how do you differentiate between like what is your expectation and like what's a realistic goal, or like are my goals too big, or like when you're coaching the youth, let's say, or even when you're coaching adults, encouraging them to create those goals that are going to be realistic, I guess.
Yeah. I always look at athletes in where they are in those 3 development stages. And I don't talk about it when I'm coaching, but in my own mind, when I'm going through it and someone's telling me what their goals are, I'm trying to think, okay, does that fit with train to win or train to compete, or are they still learning? And then I try to, if maybe those goals are a little bit lofty for this year, I say, you know what, that's great. I think that's really good, but why don't we think like in the next 3 months what we want to achieve? Or I try to just make a smaller stepping stone, because then you're setting yourself up for success and you're going to get confidence that way. If you only go to the end goal of, okay, I want to win. Well, that's great. Tell me how you're going to do it. How are you going to win? Right? That's the end result. And that's kind of part of the expectation. I expect to win. I expect everyone to win, right? We all want to, but that's not measurable. So you can't say, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to throw 100 strikes in the next X number of tournaments to get me there. Well, I hope you do. But if you don't, what are we going to do? What are we going to focus on? And so, yeah, I try to just, I guess, listen to what they're saying. And then if the goals are maybe a little bit above where they are right now, just redirect them to something that is more achievable, without saying like, well, no, you can't do that, because it's not that you can't do it. You're just not at that stage yet.
Right. That makes sense. And then would you recommend like big goals, or like breaking it down into smaller, like stepping stone chunks? Like if I'm thinking of someone who's coming out to play the Open for the first time, what would be like that realistic kind of goal setting that they should be thinking about?
Yeah, you have to have both, right? I mean, if you've never qualified for an Open team or your first year and you say, okay, you know, my big end goal is I want to make the Open. Absolutely have that goal. That's what's going to push you to work hard to get there. But you also need to have those stepping stones. So if you're someone who, say, averages, you know, 180 and you're expecting to make the ladies team out of Edmonton, for example, you have to go back and look at the history of the averages and know that, you know what, that maybe is not achievable right now based on your average. So maybe you make the goal of you want to be in the top whatever, or you want to make sure that you are averaging at least what you average in league when you go to your Open qualifying, or you're going to put some time into practice that you can try and get as close to that end goal as you want to, knowing that it might be a 1 or 2 or 3 year process before you actually get there and develop your game to the point where you are in contention for something like that.
Right.
Just talk to us like maybe a little bit about like the mindset, because obviously it's fascinating, and I think we probably could have a whole podcast on this, honestly, because we could learn. I feel like I'm still learning, every day in life, but also in the sport. But let's just say, like, I do often see sort of this negative mindset on the lanes. Very common to see it. Some people, it seems like that negative mindset for them, self-talk, whatever it is, sort of this tenacity that they have, works for them. And then for others, it's almost like it just, the game just gets worse, right? So do you have any maybe history or perspective on the mindset?
Yeah, so I've seen both, and I know there's some people that maybe what comes across as, say, like a negative mindset, when you hear what they're saying, you're like, oh my gosh, did they just say that to themselves? But for them, maybe that's how they get themselves kind of fired up, and there's something in them that's like, okay, I know I did this, and I'm not going to make that same mistake again, right? So it's more like a grit and a determination there that we don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And then you've got other people that, you can watch them say things like that and then they implode, right? And it's really hard, even as a coach or as a spectator, to try and navigate that, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes and what's the right thing to say or not say, or someone storms off the lane and you're like, oh, should I go talk to them? Should I not? Right? Like it's a very delicate situation. And so I think something I do want to eventually talk about too, that kind of connects into this is impulse control. And we make a lot of decisions based out of emotion in the moment, in the heat of the moment. You've punched 5 or 6 times and now you're frustrated. And being able to take something like that is a negative and say, okay, what is in my control? What can I change? And how am I going to make this different, so that you can turn it into a positive? There's a bowler that I work with that is quite well known for this, but I think for him, it's one of the things he's worked really hard on, being able to say, okay, I'm going to stop, I'm going to take a second, and I'm going to figure out how I move forward from this. And I think it shows it's a really great strength that can be developed if you work on it to still come back from that. And then you can go through a 380 or whatever it is after that. And unless you practice that, you'll never develop it.
It's a bounce back, which is really fascinating, right?
Yeah. Wow. It's like nice to know there's like the different mindsets, and it doesn't necessarily mean if you're not in that mindset at the moment, you can't like go between it.
Well, and I do think what Des is saying about kind of these 3 pillars that she's talking about, like that you're just never stuck in one.
Yeah.
You could constantly be flowing throughout. I'm calling them 3 pillars, Des. Sorry, I'm sure you have like
no, that's okay.
Another name, but like my guess from experience is like you can flow through those.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I flow through them sometimes multiple times within a season, even. Like you go through those waves. I mean, a 30-week season, it's really hard to stay at the top for 30 weeks. And so you kind of have those moments where like, I'm not in it to win it right now. I'm in it to get back into a mindset where I could be at some point in it to win it again.
Yeah.
Right. And like, sometimes it's that battle.
And it's not just physical either, right? Like, we even talk about, like, say, getting close to Christmas time. There's so much stuff going on. There's work Christmas parties and kids' Christmas parties and school and year end and whatever you have going on, that you haven't lost the physical of your bowling, but you're being overwhelmed by the other stuff. And so, you say, just mentally right now, I'm really busy at work. I've got a lot going on, and you're not there. And that's okay. So maybe like on the mental side of it, you're back to that. Okay, I'm learning to train again because I lost that. I'm not practicing. I'm not really here when I'm at the bowling alley, and that's okay. And then eventually everything lines up again, and you end up back in that, okay, train to win or train to compete, whatever phase it is that you're in. And that's, kind of that gold and the stars align and everything feels easy.
Right.
Wow. We need to give Des more time on the next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can talk forever about this stuff too.
But I could listen to it, which is like,
I love that we
really
get to have you.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that we get to have you like month after month to kind of just bring this piece together and put that. I think it's a piece that a lot of us are missing because we don't necessarily think about the game in that light. So.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Des.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on and letting me ramble on.
No, it was good. It was good. It's fascinating how it all works, and it's just this piece where we're constantly working and constantly learning about the game. So I'm really looking forward to future podcasts with you, Des.
Awesome. Me too. Thank you so much, you
Enjoy the
guys.
rest of the night.
Yeah.
Oh, I cut her off.
really, really quickly. I mean, we like to adhere to like the 90-minute rule, and we've actually gone well beyond that tonight. So, I could do just a quick Fab 5 update, Cole's Nose version. Stacy actually is in Mexico with her family, and actually the title sponsor of the Diamond Ladies Classic. So, but we've been kind of shouting out the Diamond Ladies Classic for, a few months here, and it's sort of that tournament for her, by her, all levels of players, just trying to get, a group of women together for a weekend for some fun and some, bowling of all levels. I think what we're most proud of so far is that, the Diamond Ladies Classic Facebook page currently has, just over 350 members, and it escalated really quickly. So it's fascinating. I feel like I just want to thank each, member that's kind of joined or who's expressed interest in joining us for that tournament, coming in June, mid-June, which I know is not ideal timing, but if you can make it out, I think it's amazing. If we had more time, it was just a run through as a reminder of like what the format is, but I think we'll leave it to like next session. There's a lot that's been happening. The doubles entry, we had to expand very quickly. We're now sitting at 44 doubles teams for the Friday nights. We've got maybe 4 spots left. So if anybody is interested, I would say just get your name in. And then we've got entries already all the way from Ontario all the way through to BC. So it's just been incredible. And I guess the latest work that we did was Sarah Ouellette. We leaned into her. She's got a travel background, and we asked her to kind of post some flight deals on the Facebook page. We're going to do that one more time. She's helping us with that, just so people, if it's posted, they can look for deals in terms of flights. We're, securing the hotel should be secured by the time maybe Stacy gets back. And then we've got lots of fun things planned. Lots of sub-sponsors that are, donating their, hard-earned money to make this happen. And so also just want to kind of lean in, if anybody's out there and they're looking to help maybe support or sponsor in any way, I would just say maybe lean into Stacy Sanderson. We're just trying to make it like super big and fun and enjoyable. And then just last note, I know Stacy's been working with Bradson Promotional Group in terms of like merch for the Diamond Ladies Classic. And I've seen a couple things that DB has put in place. It's just going to be awesome. So yeah, that's all I had with Stacy being out.
Awesome.
It's going to be super, super fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. Every time I see another update for it, I'm like,
yeah, we've got so much. Stacy has been incredible. She's done so much work, but current main prize pool is, 20,000 right now. And, if we can encourage more interest in terms of the sponsorship, that it literally for the first event could be incredible. And, a prize pool that is just, fabulous. So yeah,
wow.
It's exciting.
So many good things happening with it.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. So
amazing. Well, we are at the end of the night. I know across the country, we've got some open qualifying happening at the end of the month. So good luck to everybody playing in all your zones. And next Ladies Podcast, February 15th.
That 15th, already working on securing some guests that have been hard to get so far.
Hard to nail down.
Yeah, so I'm excited about Feb podcast already.
Yeah, a little Valentine's special.
Yes.
All right. Well, other than that, I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of January and beginning of February, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Good night, everyone.